Snor Snup's Søndagsklub, Sunday Club. It was a Sunday club for kids, very known with Bubber on Danish television. I think it was TV2. And they wanted to do a Halloween show. And so they sent me, you were in London, so they sent me along with a journalist from TV2 to visit the Baroness of the Gavne Castle, Helle. And I had to use my feelings there to see if there was anything at all that if you should come and they should put a TV producer along with you and the crew. So we had to see if there was spirits or anything going on. And we went to have coffee with Helle at the castle. And I got to look around and I learned a lot from you, how to open and close again as well. And as we went through the castle, I wanted, it wasn't Helle who was supposed to show us around. She wasn't the one in front. It was me. I just knew where I wanted to go. And all of a sudden there was a wall. And I said, why can't we go this way? We have to go this way. And she said, well, you can't. We built a wall, but they used to be open. There used to be a door, but we closed it. But many years ago, you could actually go that way. And then I went around the castle and looked, and it was quite funny. And I found these hidden in the old times when they were having parties and stuff, as many hundred years ago. They had kind of secret stairways. So they could like go behind a big painting or something and then go straight into the kitchen, down to the kitchen. And I found these and it was really, really interesting. And then there was, I came into a room, I can't remember which king it was. He had this, he was always going hunting at the Gavne. He didn't live there. What's his name? Frederick something? I can't remember, but it was many years ago, I think 1600 something. And his giant riding boots were standing next to the bed. And I was like, I think there's something behind that wall. I think he kept a mistress in there. I think he had, there was a door and he kept a mistress in the other room. They could go, they didn't have to go up to the hall and go into each other's rooms, but they could go straight through the wall. There was a door. And then I remember they actually called an old woman who wasn't working at the castle anymore, but they had to go to up to the ceiling to get old drawings of what has been in the castle before. And actually there had been a door. And then they called her to hear if there was any stories about this. And he actually had this what's it called when you have a I can't remember the word. It's not your wife, it's a
mistress.
Yeah. He had a mistress, and she was put in the next room, but the door had been closed. And it was quite funny. I actually could just go back to Marion and call her in London and say, there's a lot of things to, you can come and look. I'm not going to say anything, but you have to come and look yourself. And then we went to record this Bubber's the Sunday club. And that was really
I remember having a go at Bubber too. He was such a very strange guy in my eyes. He was one of those kind of people. He denied spiritualism. He denied everything. And I remember telling him off quite severe, very severe, and saying, you should never do programs, darling, if you don't believe in it. It's one of my things. You don't get anything out of me if you don't have a certain kind of belief. So he's very, I also said to him, be careful, Bubber, you don't shoot yourself in the foot because you're just about to do so. And so he did. So there's many things, but there has been times we had so many things. I remember in the castle, we came home, we was frozen to death. It was so cold. And I remember we were so tired because it went over and over. We had to go over and over and over. And I think we came home to where I, at the time, had a little place to stay in. And we was actually creeping up the stairs laughing because we were so
pushed you. I pushed you.
Up the stairs. That's many, many things, isn't there, that we can remember. Yeah. And it was quite interesting, I think, in those days, because spiritualism, communication, filming spirit was still quite new to Denmark, even if we had a couple of spiritualist churches and so forth. It was still something that Denmark went into, I have to say. And I just remember how many people who saw it and the recordings there were. As much as we also had The Feeling for Murder was another one that was set up in Denmark, and The Spirit's Return and things like that. But in each way, what you are explaining, I never met anybody. I never saw the people who was part of the show at the time or part of the investigation or whatever. I think that that is a fascinating part at all of our, what can I say, things that we have worked with, is that I am totally blind. But it has also been interesting of explaining to people about psychometry. Nobody ever knew about what it was. And yet it is something that has been used over a long time in England. However, the National Spiritualist Union in England is our big organization, didn't like medium using psychometry because we could read objects all over the place. And I think that that was the same when I did på Strøget. That means our walking street in Copenhagen. We had a old, it was a restaurant, it was
a dancing club.
What was it?
In just near Rådhuspladsen.
Yeah, there was near that one,
yeah,
where I had to go in there with another medium, try to help him through. And we have also extraordinary lot of activities there. Like, in a sense of it, I did when I was together with you. I suddenly stood, I always remember standing in the middle of a dancing floor and suddenly take my hands like this and started to do a dancing in a sort of a person who was a sea, what the old sailors used to do. And there I was going around dancing, wondering, why am I dancing like a sailor? And it was because that there were so many sailors and so forth that came into that club. And then I also mentioned a ship's name, and everything was absolutely correct. It was again this kind of things of being part of what happened there, not just standing there and saying, oh, little Mrs. Jensen is here. It was actually being in there and picking up all the frequency, all the vibration, all the echoes, everything that was left behind. And I think that that is also, of course, what you experienced within the castle, that is touching the wall, feeling it, sensing it, going there, making yourself available, if you like. And a lot of people are afraid of making themselves totally available to spirit. And that's one of the things I am not afraid of. I often take challenges with spirit and sort of saying, excuse me, Herr Nielsen, if you're there, I don't want to hear you just, Herr Nielsen. I want to have more information. Can you not give me the information and bugger off? I said, I don't want to talk to you. So if I have to give a message to anybody, I have to have more than just, I have to have a lot more. And I think that that's what I really became known for in Denmark, and also what I try to teach you. So there was quite a few adventures we did.
Yes, and what I think is that a lot of people, especially at that time, and I think it's still like that, that many people just they just want an answer to anything. They want you to give them answers to what to do with their life, and that's what I don't think I was quite like that. But when you lose someone, and I actually lost a lot of people during the years, you just get and it's tough, and it's so you're trying to find answers, but it's not always, you can't have others to get you the answers. You have to, it's within yourself. So when you taught me just to follow my intuition, if something was going on, or which direction I should make in my life, I actually, you learned that to me, and that's why I remember it was I think it actually still is, but I remember that really at that time everybody wanted to be a clairvoyant. Yeah. Everybody wanted to be a medium, and there were these education schools. You can be you can learn to be a clairvoyant for like 20,000 crowns, like 2,000 English pounds. But you get an education. You can't get an education within this. You can be a carpenter and get an education, but you can't be educated in this. You either have it or you don't. And the thing is that if you have it, it's not always meant to be that you're supposed to use it or help other people. Maybe sometimes just help yourself. And that's what you taught me, because I can do a little bit as well. And sometimes when people pass away, I also get, if it's a friend, maybe I get a message and I can tell them and they can say, well, that's exactly what it is. But I didn't want to go into that. And especially I've had 3 episodes. I remember having a nightmare that an aunt on my father's side, she would die of a heart attack. And in my dream, nightmare, I would call it, the family found her sitting in her living room in a chair. And I think a month or 2 went by, and then I had another dream that my other aunt, also on my father's side, that she had cancer and would die. And my mom and dad were still alive at that point, and I was devastated, and I didn't know what to do. So I talked to you about it, I remember, and I went to them and said, I have had these awful nightmares about this happening. And what actually happened was that I think after 2 months, my aunt, she died. She had, I can't remember, I think it was something with the heart, and they found her in her living room in a chair. And a month went by, and my other aunt had cancer. They found out she had cancer. And I think another month went by, and she died. And that was really hard, especially on my dad, but because Bo had passed away as well a few years before that. But I was like, I don't want these messages. I don't want this. But you said to me, maybe this for you is to be to have the power to help your family, like you did with Bo, even though you weren't. No one told me that he was going to die. It happened so suddenly. But you said to me, maybe this is how you're supposed to help your mom and dad go through this, because it's very hard. And in 2007, it actually happened again. I remember it was actually near Halloween time, and I in my dream there was a long round an oval table, and you were the only face I could see was yours. Everybody else was like colored. I couldn't see their faces, and I was just told, your mother is going to die. And I was like this, and I tried to get answers, and I said, will we have Christmas together? And I didn't get that answer. And actually the same year in 2007, on, I think it was the night before Christmas, the 23rd, my dad told me that she was very ill, she couldn't breathe. So I ran to the hospital, and the ambulance came with her, and she actually woke up again. But they said to me, it was on Christmas Eve, the Danish Christmas Eve, 24th of December. The doctors pulled me away and said, we don't think your dad he's not tough enough to get this information, so we're going to say it to you. Your mom will not live more than a few days, so you have to get the family to
I think that
it's the thing that you can use this, but it's not, you don't have to use it, you know?
Yeah. And I think that you have been a very good listener to what I'm saying, because of what I see a lot with mediumship these days. And I have to say, we have gone in for active communication, delivering a message for people who's passed over, into more fortune telling. That means looking for the future, looking what's going to happen. So we have gone away from what really spirit communication is all about. And if we really want to understand that, and we sit for it, learn by it, then the world of spirits open up, and that will take you down that path. And there's very, very few people that can actually do that today. As we all know, that mediumship itself will divert itself in again to many sectors, from physical to mentally, which Denmark did not know anything about. I brought that in again, explaining about there's a physical and a mental side of it. There's also a healing side of it. And I have seen with some of the people I took with me to experience, if you like, physical mediumship at its best. The same is it with my demonstrations I'm doing. I mean, the halls are always completely full of people wherever I go, but I will never go away. Do you understand it? From the way that I deliver my message, it is about life after death, the communication. And this is where I would just like for a moment to go back again to Bo and the experiences we two had with Bo. Because of, as I keep on saying to people, when I work, I take often the characters over.
And you did.
And I did with Bo. I could never understand why I kept going, hello, and sitting doing very strange things. And I didn't realize anything about, you know, of course I had friends who were gay, but for me, people are people. You're dead, you're a person again. I don't go around and saying, oh, this is gay, that's lesbian or whatever. Well, they're friends, that's it. This is people I speak to. So that's okay. But I so remember the time, and I sat down, I'm not saying that. I'm definitely not saying that. And it was almost, I was forced into it. And I said, what do you mean? I can't do that. What do you mean? What, where? I said, I can't. And suddenly all I could hear from your brother, I swear to you, was this flamboyant. And I looked and I went, yeah, I think he's a transvestite. And you went, no, he's gay. And I remember holding my head and saying, well, why on earth is he then standing in a bleeding dress?
He's a drag queen.
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't know. I said, the man is standing in a dress. And then I remember sitting myself back. And what happened then was something that Denmark never forgot. I suddenly went, hang on a minute.
I nearly fell down the chair.
Yeah. The minute he walks through the joint, I was sitting. And I was sitting and singing a song called Hey, Big Spender.
I was about to faint.
I remember you sat there and you just hold to your chair. And the crew was looking at me sitting, hey, big spender, boom, 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 on the chair, doing all sort of funny movements, not knowing why I was singing this song. And of course it came out why I was singing that song. Rikke, why did I sing that song?
You sang that song because it was a part of his show, his drag queen show. But he was also known, he died at the age of 34, and he had lived his life to the fullest and traveled around the world. And he was really a big spender. He was known for that. It was champagne all over the place when you were out, going out at night. And he was very, very alive. And he was actually called a big spender. So it was spot on. You started with say, I just want to say happy birthday to my mother. And then you started like this, and I was like, oh.
I also remember, I remember when that program came out, and I remember coming in the street afterwards, and everybody was going, I go, why are they singing Big Spender? It didn't matter who the heck I met in Denmark. They was all going, hey, Big Spender, show me. I went, I'm going back home again. It was so fun.
I couldn't go shopping without anyone stopping me. I was stopped all the time. Aren't you the one from?
It was like that all the way through. Yeah. But it was quite a sensation to hear Hey Big Spender and sitting and singing it, and also doing the movements with your brother, sitting and baking things and doing things. I thought that was quite fascinating. So I think that where we are coming to now, Rikke, and that is a wonderful, wonderful time of memories of things that we two have done together, and how I become part of your family now, which I'm very proud of, being the godmother of your daughter, I have to say, and spoiling them.
Yeah.
So it's lovely to be able to meet people, and then for all these 20 years that we've known each other has coming closer to each other. But I think that what we will do, we will ask who they're sitting there to please play for us one song.
So we can dance.
Yes. So let's see if we can get it on for all of you to hear.
Walked in the joint. I could see you were a man of distinction, a real big spender, good looking, so refined. Say, wouldn't you like to know what's going on in my mind? So let me get right to the point. I don't pop my cork. Hey, man, I see. Hey, big spender.
Oh.
Interesting. But that was the one I think that took Denmark with so much storm that it set the program where it should be.
Yeah.
That was absolutely fantastic. So I would like to thank you, Rikke, for being with me today, you in Denmark, me in London, to Anette and Bo for again helping us with this broadcast we're doing. And we'll carry on. Keep carrying on. Thank you.